Obviously you guys know there's two different ways to install, right? You got two staging and bottom loading. What do you guys do at Tint World? Do you guys take the panels off and drop the film in, or you just leave the gasket in?
We leave it in.
Two stage, yeah. Are they against like taking panels apart?
No, if we have to, we will.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
All right, I used to two stage every single install because I was terrified of taking panels apart. It is so easy to take a gasket, like that Lincoln Aviator, you'd think like it's a $100,000 car, it's super fancy. You pull on the top of the door panel and pull the gasket out. No screws, you just pull it and pull the gasket out. A lot of cars are like that. Hyundais, Kias, all the Korean vehicles are like that. You pull the top back. Fords, I'm gonna show you how easy that is, and maybe I'll change the way you think about installing and reduce contamination, because that'll reduce contamination a lot. I did it for 8 years, two staging. Once I learned how to take the panels off and bottom load, it just changed the way I install. Don't worry, we're almost done with the boring stuff. It's like 2 more minutes. Johnson's baby shampoo, I buy that one right there, but it tends to go out of stock a lot. I get that from Sam's Club. I usually buy it by the case. Now they're out of stock, so you have to go on Amazon and buy the smaller bottle. But if you're gonna get that or this one, get the darker one like these. There's actually one that I ordered a bunch of and I couldn't use because it has no slip solution in it. You could put 15 pumps of this soap in the bottle and it will be like you have no soap in the bottle. So do not get this one. The reason I say based on the weather, because the more humid it is, the tackier the film will be. This one, and I still use this when I go and do like flat glass jobs. Bottle goes in here, pouch goes in here, heat gun on the side, you got your tape measure, hold your cord, or your towels going here. It's like perfect, you could literally fit everything. It's like it was made for this. I should auction that off. I'll put a piece of tape on the outside so that when I put it inside, I know exactly where that windshield strip has to go, because you got two pieces and they could both pivot like this. So having that on the outside just helps. But usually when it's masking tape, it gets wet and it ends up falling off. So you want to use like vinyl tape for that, like black tape. And that's it for the boring stuff. Wasn't too bad, right? But you feel like it was good that I went over that stuff? Cool. So we're gonna practice cutting quite a few top edges. When you're hand cutting, you actually have to follow that, because when you put it on, it has to match that edge. So I'm gonna hand out this yellow film. Use my nice ghetto demo stand here. And we do this here on this little piece of demo glass because when you're doing it on the car, you have already lined up the bottom edge, cut the sides, shifted it. You got the window rolled down to cut the top edge. You already done all that work. And then this part right here, if you f this up, you're gonna have to redo that entire window again. You're gonna have to hold the glass and the tint at the same time, because again, if you push too hard, you're gonna knock it over. You wanna keep the blade at a 45-degree angle. So you wanna be at a 45 here, and you wanna be at a 45 this way. I don't know if this blade is dull or not. I didn't check it, but 45, yeah, it is pretty dull. That's cool. That was a pretty rough demo, and that's a clean top edge. So this blade is dull from doing God knows what, probably cleaning the windshield, but I kept the 45-degree angle and I kept a consistent pressure. I didn't stop. If you stop, that's a little nick in the film. So you start from the front to the back, consistent angle and pressure. Just cut that whole piece of film and then we'll pull the cars in. If you spray too much, you're gonna have like a little river going on here, like there already is underneath you. So that's where you have your angle, but you were going up this way, so you change your angle to up. That's not bad though, just don't run your hand across it. Make sure you rip the excess off, because that will be hanging and biting you. He's about to install it. If you guys are having struggle points, yell at me. Like, hey, like, how do I fix this? And I'll tell you right away. Get the hang of it.
Okay.
So you hold one side, you pop it in, and then you cut up. You want another piece?
Yeah.
Oh damn, you cut the bottom too. So right now I'm going to show you a demo of two staging and one demo of bottom loading. Show you the pros and cons. There's really no cons, it's more so personal preference, but I'll show you the differences between the two methods, and then you guys pick how you want to approach it. It's all in the installation. So whenever it's raining, I always go over with the drying towel, roll all the windows down about 1.5 inches. That way when we go on the inside, we have a full area that we can reach. Very light mist, you don't have to soak the panel up. In the center, overlapping strokes. Even if it's brand new, I'll scrape the glass because you never know what stickers were on there. Clean the sides of that bottom edge and lining exactly up with that bottom edge. You don't want a gap, you want to align it exactly with it and just go straight up. This is your chance, pick a door. Everyone's gonna get to touch every single door of these cars multiple times. I go through like 5 rolls every time I do these classes. I want you to get as much hands-on experience as possible. So I'm gonna walk around in a circle to each of you and follow you with each of your steps. But if there's something specific that you're struggling on, please do not hesitate to call me over. Like, that's what I'm here for. I wanna help you solve those issues, all right? Pick a door. And then it'll come out, yep. Ooh. Yeah, if you just pull it straight up, it'll actually rip apart. So with the Honda Civics and Accords, you gotta twist it towards you and it'll come out.
Oh, it's a weird angle. It's like, see how it goes in and then it comes back up. Yeah.
You pick the tricky one. It's actually really easy. And that'll be the first edge that you cut. What I would do now is spray the outside, mount it in place so that when you cut this bottom edge, it doesn't move like that. So do that, and then just cut this bottom edge first. And then you automatically have your bottom edge lined up to the bottom.
Okay. It was like 20 years ago last time I touched tint, and I only did like 3 or 4 windows. There was no shrinking involved, there was no nothing at that time. It was just cut and fit, and that was it.
Different world.
Oh, now you're recording me? So I'm so used to the plotter. I'm not used to the hand cutting at all. But I'll get there.
You want to cut all the way through.
What happened? You threw it out? You didn't want me to see it?
Yeah.
Here, take this, lift it up, spray the window up here, and then now you can not have to worry about any dirt falling in. You can rinse out this really good. That could be a source of contamination just right there alone. Especially if you're two-staging, all that dust that's on the felt, you're lifting up. And then as you pull off, spray. Yeah. Cool. There you go. Good.
I always hate that one.
Yeah, and then the gasket's really low on the inside of this, so you don't have to you don't have to open it up.
It's going pretty good. A lot of information very quickly.
How you doing over here? I'm struggling. Yeah.
You gotta grab the gasket and then twist it this way.
Okay.
And then it'll come right out. But when you do that, just put the film on like the windshield so that you can roll the window all the way down. Don't get stressed out. The first day is the worst, and then tomorrow you come in and you're like, ah, shit, I get it. Just, you might have some nightmares tonight about window tint.
What are you guys doing here?
Coating. Never did this before.
Describe the process, Jason.
I can't leak out the information, man.
Orange FJ 9000. I guess this is no good, right? So I would actually just shift it so it covers right up to that edge right there. Any further is gonna cause complications when you install it, because the glass really only goes up to like this area right here. Perfection?
Well, not really, but I mean, it came out pretty good.
Wow, it looks good, yeah. Interesting.
How do you check it? Like, what am I looking for?
Contamination or marks, like you see this mark down here.
Yeah, it got crinkled as I was going in.
That's why you gotta make sure you spray enough soapy water on the bottom so that when you're putting it in, it doesn't get stuck. But you could take the little chiseler, and if you watch from the outside, kind of flatten this out a bit. But I mean, overall, it looks really good for your first tint ever. That's the dry spot, so that's actually air, and then you dragged it around. Was there a finger there?
Yeah.
When you shrunk it, you probably like push it sideways by accident when you really got to push it down. So what you did is you took the air from the bubble and pushed it into the squeegeed out area already. If you heat the outside, you see the little handle mark there? And just massage it with this. I mean, you did really good. If you can get a perfect window in your second window ever, that's really good. Four hours of sleep. I'm doing pretty good. They're making really good progress. I'm really happy. That's how my brain feels. One screw in here. Just put the screw into this little cup right here. And all you gotta do is pull straight back, all the way across.
Is it because of the lint?
Well, you can use these on the inside, but I like the honeycomb towels because they have more grit to them. And if you have something abrasive or like, not abrasive, like glue or something stuck on the inside, that one's a lot easier to use to like rub it off. And I like to keep them separate because once you use this on the outside, then it's dirty and you don't want to get that on the inside. Yep.
Yeah, again.
There it is. Yep. And then front, let me pop this panel a little bit more for you. There you go. You want to get this whole part down. It's tricky, you'll get it. Don't get overwhelmed.
Look, I know it's messed up.
I'm gonna lay in bed and just like.
The guy who I always had tip my truck, his name was Sean too.
What? That's weird. That's not fair. There can only be one Sean window tinter.
He goes to all those LA conventions that you do and stuff too.
Yeah? Probably know him then. Sean, S-E-A-N?
No, S-H-A-W-N.
Ah, that's not the same. Oh, I see. It showed in his, like when I searched him, he showed up right away. But I don't think I've ever met him before. Potentially, you never know. So much tint. When you're shrinking, make sure you're using the gray lid coat card and not the yellow turbo, because the yellow turbo can melt really fast if it gets hit by the heat. There's never this many people from New York. It's usually like Kentucky, Florida, like crazy places. And maybe one person from Queens or Brooklyn, or I never had this many people from New York have interest in the class, which is pretty cool.
The online course. How do you get access to that?
So the online course is hosted with Autofilm Mastery right now. It's good. It's a good reference too. Like if you're working on a car, you're like, I forgot again.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
We have videos for like the sunroof, the quarter glass window, the back window, the side windows. All right, guys, let's collectively join. Feel free to, if you want, leave a tint on the window if you want to practice scraping glue off. If you don't want to practice scraping glue off, don't leave the tint on the window. From 1 to 10, how stressed out are you?
10.
10? It's a lot. Is it really a lot? Like the steps? No. But retaining it, regurgitating it is a lot. It's hard. You guys are probably watching me and listening to me like, oh, this is fucking stupid. I'm gonna knock this out. It's not. It's a lot of practice. The information that I give you is easy to understand when it's spoken to you, but repeating it and practicing it is something that you absolutely have to do if you want to make this something that you want to do and be able to make money. You guys as individuals, if you're just doing this as a side hustle, you can get $300 easily for tinting the side windows and the rear window on a car. I could do this car in like 40 minutes. If I had the plotter, it'd make like 35. The whole entire thing, taking the door panels off, everything. That's $300 in 30 minutes, that's $600 an hour. For $12 material, that should be enough motivation for you to practice, because you can make someone's weekly paycheck in an hour of work, you know? It's not easy. It's one of those things where you can't just be like, all right, I'm gonna do this, this, and this, and it works. You have to actually practice the steps. Get the muscle memory for how to hold the blade, how to cut the edges, how to handle the film when you're putting it in so you're not getting dirt on the sides or the top. Just very fine details. It's an art. It's literally an art. And you gotta have the motivation too to do it. You can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna do this class and I'm gonna be the best at this. You guys showed a lot of progress today. I mean, for most of you not ever touching tint, pretty f***ing impressive, honestly. But you guys are all doing good, making progress. And sleep on it. Try not to have too many nightmares about window tinting. Honestly, you probably will, because I did, not gonna lie. I used to have dreams about like doing the f***ups that I've like cutting the top edge. I would literally wake up and be like, what the f*** is wrong with me? Dreaming about window tinting. But I did it all day, every day. And that's why it was the only thing on my mind. You have that ambition and you put the information that I give you into work and you'll make it. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tired. I'm super tired. Let's go to the gym. Ah! At least it's room for the water to come out. And then you're gonna mount it across the top and bring all the tension down. You see how one side's overhanging, one side's not. You bring all the tension to one finger if that's all you need to shrink. And then you use the black card with the heat gun to shrink that. Push it out. I would advise against that, because one day the car was wet and it slid down the windshield, dragged across the whole hood, and hit the headlight and hit the floor and broke. Ever since then, I've never done that.
I love her. She just a good. That's it. I am the one.
Like when you cut this back edge, it looks like you didn't shift forward, did you?
Oh, no, I didn't. That's something I forgot on the door.
Yeah. Overall looks good, you just forgot the shift. How's the top edge look? Did you heat the top edge?
No, I didn't have a heat gun.
Oh, okay. So that you have to do before you roll it up, because once you roll it up, if it's too tight up here, it'll actually pull the film off the glass. Very tight edge, wow.
Yeah, I always keep messing up a little bit over here.
Much better than it was yesterday. What was that? A little bit loose here. Did you heat up the corners?
Not yet.
So you got to do that before you roll it up. Like I was telling him, if you roll it up before you heat the top edge, you have the possibility of these tension points actually grabbing the edges and pushing it off just like that, off of the glass. And you are hanging over a little bit here.
I'm definitely making progress. Cutting the edges, and then I'm about to mount on the other side.
Yep.
But then when I put it on, like this side doesn't fit. It's like too big. I don't know where I'm going.
Let's check it out. We're obviously only going to have a 1/4 inch shift on the front, right?
Yeah.
So the back should line up exactly. This is a perfect shift though. It's exactly what you need. Just this is going to be a little bit short when you install.
Yeah.
And the top edge looks a little choppy. See how it pulled away? That was probably me. Bam. You see how the rest of that was nice and clean though? It's all about that slight angle and then down. That was my fault. I take blame for that.
No, thank you.
Is it Tint World quality?
I don't know, is it?
Yep. I see a bubble. I'm just kidding. You see the finger on the bottom, right?
Yeah.
That could be heated though. You could have the front top edge as accurate as you think, but you see how there's a bigger gap here and not here? So the film actually needed to be pushed forward just a little bit to make up for that. Sometimes if it's really hard to line up the top edge, it's more so just shifting a little bit forward or back. But it's a nice clean install. Just the top edge up here just needed to be a little bit tighter. All right, so for the back window, for install, obviously you need an inside towel and an outside towel, the dryer sheet, and then the back window tools, which would be the bulldozer, side swiper, and I like to use the orange crush with the handle for the back windows to get a better grip when you're squeegeeing the back window out. So obviously the first step would be to clean it off, yeah. What would go on after you clean it? Dryer sheet. So you can't put the dryer sheet onto a dirty window because you'll just have dirt all over the window and that won't be friendly for when you're shrinking it. If you got any sand, as you guys could tell probably from some of your installs, if you get a piece of sand in the tint, it leaves like an indentation in it, right? Don't use too much water. It just has to be slightly damp. If your towel is wet already, just use the wet towel to wipe it off. We're gonna grab the dryer sheet. You guys remember which scent you need to use? Just trying to see who's paying attention. Who did this? Do that, and then you see how they're still popping up on the side? Yeah. You can just lift it back up, go, and redirect it. And if you ever have a lot of fingers that are really big, you can take your finger like this and split the fingers. So this issue right here, it all has to do with how you initially squeegeed. Because if you're not stretching the film out, you're gonna be left with tension in a center like this. You should never have film that looks like that. The initial squeegee should be from the center out. So you're pulling it all this way, and then you're starting from the center that way, pushing it all that way.
Push it all up then before that?
No, you start here and across. So you're leaving the top for second to last. So first you do here, and then here, as far as you can go down, and then you push all this up. Now you can do it again, but better. Coffee, just to get that side tacked. So just lift that corner up again, and run just your finger down that edge. Yep, that's it. Push. And this is your absolute center. So you're not gonna wanna go further than that. Don't let the lines distract you, just use those as guides. Yep, that's good. That's all sideways so you can push it. Today we used a material that's kind of rubbery in a consistency of, you should really be pole shrinking this material, but I don't want to teach you guys because you guys really shouldn't ever have to pole shrink material, because that's the only material that needs to be shrunk like that is this, and you probably will never use this. Tomorrow I'm going to let you guys use the Expel or even Suntech if we have any. You're going to notice a night and day difference between how easy it was to shrink this between how easy it is to shrink tomorrow. I wanted you guys to use that hard material first so that you could see the limitations of the film. See how easy it is to burn, how easy it is to over shrink a certain area, or if you push an area too soon, how easy it is to crease it. So you definitely saw that today, right? The limitations of the film. Now I'm gonna spoil you tomorrow with some easier to use film, and it's gonna be a night and day difference. So if today was intimidating, just know that tomorrow is going to be much easier on the shrinking process. Any questions about what we did today, or anything specific that you want to focus on tomorrow that you feel like you need to be educated more on, or looked over the shoulder a little bit more on and guided on? Okay, well, sleep on it. And if there's something that stands out and you're just like, I should ask him that, write it down and then ask me it, because I want you guys to leave here with as much as you can without being too overwhelmed, because I know it is overwhelming, but I also want you to gain the value out of it. And you know that you could always reach out to me after the class to ask questions as well. And I hope that you guys all go home and practice, and that you didn't get too overwhelmed at this class to where you go home and you don't want to do this ever again, all right? That's not the goal here. But I also want to try to shove as much information down your throat as possible so you gain that value of it, even if it takes a little bit of stress and making you tired by the end of the day from the mental stress that it gives you. Because I know I've been through it. Like I said, I've been through trainings before, but once you get through it and you're done and you gain that knowledge from the class, you know you can go home and implement those things that you've learned to practice with them. Sound good?
Just a good. That's it. I am.
Dude, these cars are so messed up.
Yeah.
Like if you like look at like the back of this thing, look at that, and then look at the back bumper. Someone hit that.
Someone did hit that. Someone from the class did that. Who scratched his car? Where's my coffee? Here it is. Next class, we have to get hello, my name is name tags, because I forget names so bad. Chicken fingers, PB&J. That's how I remember people. Because the more crooked it is, you're technically shrinking sideways. The one thing that I do is I use the top edge of the glass and just match the corners. So I'll bring this one to the top corner, right here, and that one to the top corner. And then you know your level. I feel great. It's a great class, excellent students. Everyone's ambitious to learn, and everyone is excelling every single second of every day. So that's good.
I liked it a lot. Very informative. I learned a lot in 3 days. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Learned a lot. Definitely more to learn. Definitely a good school.
Excellent. Definitely, you could watch the videos, but it will not necessarily translate to you taking action. You just got to take action. You need that practice.
Over here.
Yep. Cleanup is my favorite part. You guys get a lovely certificate of completion, and we're all gonna take separate pictures, and then we're all gonna take a big group picture, because this is an awesome group of people and you guys are fucking amazing to teach. Honestly, I've had some classes that are literally depressing, so thank you for having high energy and being joke friendly. And it's probably the New York attitude, honestly, because we're all just very out there. Ryan Parameter.
Thanks.
Little sus. Ava. Bam. Salvatore. And Troy.
Thank you.
Alex. Adrian. I'm getting it right. Vincent, yes. Yep. Damn, I'm usually really bad with names. Shard. I'll remember. Joe. Damn, I had it right.
Thank you.
Usually I do not remember one person's name, and that's pretty f***ing scary.
That was a quick and squelchy one.
That was... Oh, you know what you can do? Thank my delivery driver. Thank my driver. She's going, ah. Did you guys find value in the class? Did you have fun? Did you get overwhelmed?
Yes, everything.
Good. That's good. That means you guys learned. Now, I want to see you all. I don't know if you guys follow me on social media, the Window Tint Warriors Instagram, and then the YouTube channel if you don't follow it already. Just stay in contact with me. If you post a car that you do, tag the Window Tint Warrior page. I'd love to see it. I do like to see the students that I teach using the information that I've given them. So that would be awesome to see if you guys tag it, tag me in a message, and that's really it. Any questions for me? No? I just gave you too much information. You have no questions at all? But like I said, feel free to text me anytime. I know you guys are gonna have questions. It's always listening. Now that's sus. Have a good one, guys. Safe travels back home if you're driving far away. Be careful. Out of control.